Today on Upfront, a federal judge rules Wisconsin's same-sex marriage ban unconstitutional. What happens next in the debate? And is same-sex marriage now here to stay? Then, changes at one of Wisconsin's best-known national retailers. Kohl's Department Stores has a new goal of engaging customers. CEO Kevin Mansell on staying competitive and what it means to have a greatness agenda. Plus, why some Wisconsin Democrats are saying it's time to make marijuana legal.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. A couple of weeks ago on this program, Wisconsin Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen said he thought it was quite possible that a federal judge would strike down Wisconsin's ban on same-sex marriage. And that's exactly what happened Friday, when Judge Barbara Crabb ruled the ban unconstitutional. Wisconsin voters overwhelmingly approved the ban as a constitutional amendment back in 2006, and citing that vote, the Attorney General immediately pledged to appeal. But same-sex couples took immediate advantage of the ruling, with courthouses in Milwaukee and Dane counties staying open late Friday and Saturday to issue marriage licenses and perform weddings. The American Civil Liberties Union of Wisconsin filed a federal lawsuit on behalf of 8 couples, and we're turning now to ACLU Executive Director Chris Amity. It's good to have you on the program. Thanks very much for being with us.
It's great to be here. It's great to be here on Upfront.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Let's talk about the decision. Attorney General Van Hollen said he wouldn't have been surprised if this was the decision. Were you surprised by it?
We weren't surprised that ACLU was going to win this case and have the marriage ban struck down. We weren't surprised because we presented a strong case. The judge deliberated. She evaluated all the information before, and good decision has been made. The constitutional amendment that the voters adopted in 2006 has been declared unconstitutional under the federal Constitution. It's discriminatory. It violates equal protection because it treats same-sex couples differently for no good reason.
So, in your opinion, are couples free to marry now? Are they legally getting married?
We think that the ban has been struck down. And the judge also went further in her decision to say that those sections of Wisconsin law that regulate marriage and talk about a husband and a wife, they're also discriminatory and are unconstitutional. What the judge didn't do was indicate what the defendants, whether they're state officials or county clerks, should do immediately when it comes to implementation of the order. The ACLU believes that the ban has been struck down, but individual county clerks, whether it's Milwaukee, Dane County, and other counties around Wisconsin, they're going to have to make up their own mind using independent legal advice as to whether or not they're going to start issuing licenses. For the couples themselves, it's kind of like asking them to wait a little while longer. Where clerks are open, I don't see any problem with going down and getting a license, getting married. Where the clerks aren't open, they're going to have to wait a little longer. But in any case, you know, marriage is not something that one should rush into. There are consequences. So the ACLU, you know, believes that this is great. We should all be celebrating. But just like any other couple, gay and lesbian couples need to think through carefully what the consequences are.
I asked you that question because the Attorney General feels that the ban is still in place because of the, I guess, the lack of clarity in the ruling. He still feels the ban is in place. And I ask that because is it possible that some couples who believe they are getting married, that they are now legally married, suddenly find out down the road that they weren't legally married?
I think the risk of that is very low. It would mean that a higher court, the Court of Appeals, the U.S. Supreme Court, would have to validate Judge Crabb's decision and order. And, you know, I think the worst that could happen would be if somebody went down and got a marriage license today or Monday, even if it weren't legal according to the circuit court order. It will be by the time we have a decision.
Well, let me have you respond to what the Attorney General has to say and people who support the ban say. They said you have one judge who is overturning the will of the people, that the people spoke in 2006 by a nearly 60-40 margin. They said, we want a ban on same-sex marriage. And that one judge is superseding the will of the people. What do you say to that?
Right. You know, it's amazing to me that the Attorney General doesn't understand the legal system better than that comment would indicate. Yes, we had a referendum in 2006. A substantial majority of people voted for the referendum and the constitutional amendment. But remember what's at stake here. This is a fundamental right. Marriage is a fundamental right. Everybody agrees that it's very, very important. So when you have a fundamental right, when you have something as ingrained in our society and our nation as justice and equality, you can't put those things up for a vote.
How confident are you that same-sex marriage is here to stay in the state of Wisconsin?
Oh, it's here to stay.
You're very confident.
We're very confident.
At the end of the day, when all the legal wrangling is done.
There's more to do in the next 3 weeks, in the next few months, but I'm confident that this case will go to the Seventh Circuit and will prevail, and some case from somewhere around the country will go to the U.S. Supreme Court in the next term or two, and this ban on marriage equality, this lack of freedom, will be a thing of the past, just like bans on interracial marriage or segregation or other things that really offend the conscience of people who believe in justice and dignity and equality.
Chris Amedee is the Executive Director of the American Civil Liberties Union in Wisconsin. Thanks very much for your time today. We appreciate it. Coming up later on Up Front, another hot-button topic with changing public attitudes is legalizing marijuana, an idea gaining traction in the state. But first, changes at one of Wisconsin's best-known national retailers. How Kohl's plans to become the most engaging retailer in America. That's when Up Front continues.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by American Transmission Company.